The first two lightning bolts vaporize most of the masthead and create this cloud. Molten pieces of metal fly down onto the deck. The third and fourth lightning bolts finish the job, but now I'm in big trouble. Lightning can smash a hole in the boat and cause a fire, so I race inside to try and find any incoming water or damage.
There's no water in. It's just nothing. Battery box is clean. It's just a relief, people. You know, you get that sick feeling in the pit of your stomach. Far out, but I mean, we're all good.
This was the bilge alarm. Water was flooding the bilge. I immediately ripped up the floorboards near the engine and was shocked.
But this water was cascading down from underneath the engine bay. But look, this is my home. There's no one around. I already know when I was ripping up the floorboards that the radios were out. It was just me, bilge pump handle, manual bilge pump, and go, and go, and go, and go.
And this next hour, it was one long hour.
Pumping, I was starting to think, what am I going to do? Well, I didn't even know if the bilge was going down because I can't actually see it from where you pump. Anyway, pumping, thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I decided to stabilise the situation by throwing as many pumps in as possible because I had the sink pumps. I've got two sink pumps. I've got a freshwater and a saltwater. All I have to do is re-hose them with clicky things, and I've got hose out back. Get the hose, get the clicky fittings, pump some more, get some tape just in case, pump some more, and bit by bit, pumping, I got the gear together, and I got to this situation. Check out that, people, a river in my boat. I could go fishing. The bilge pump, it wasn't keeping up with it, so I've re-hosed to our saltwater and freshwater pumps. So now they're pumping out. They were pumping out into the sink, but the poor old sink couldn't take all the water going out. So now the freshwater is going out the hatch, but we're under control. The water level is going down. What? Oh.
But the water level was rising again. I looked at the voltmeter and the batteries were almost dead. The pumps were getting weaker and soon there weren't going to be any pumps working at all.
I went to turn on the motor. Then the alternator will charge the batteries. Situation stabilised, and then we can go jump in the water. Turn on the motor, it works. Thank goodness, because apparently sometimes after lightning strike, the motor will not work. Run back, look at the voltmeter, it's not charging. So the alternator has been fried. Now, the situation is this. I reckon I got about 10 or 15 minutes before the bilge starts to overflow. So in my mind, there was only one thing to do. I had to go in, find the hole and plug it because it was only going to get worse.
Now that's a big hole, but I reckon a couple of plastic bags shoved under the flap ought to do the trick. A shark. This anchorage here has plenty of sharks wanting an easy meal. With any luck, I won't be on the menu, but I really can't worry about that right now. I have a job to do. Another shark. With all the noise and light, I'm becoming quite popular. This is special tape that sticks to wet surfaces. While I'm here, I may as well do the best seal that I can. I'd rubbed some of the slime off the boat for the tape to stick better. It stuck, but it wasn't great, and so I should have stopped using that damn magic tape and left it as is. then I stuffed it up completely. That bloody sticky tape grabbed an edge of the plastic bag and pulled it out of the damn hole. There was only one thing for it now. And then I shoved it all in the damn hole. This anchorage is visited by bull sharks, and with me being noisy and flashing lights around, it was only a matter of time until they came and said hello.
Well, that was a bit startling, but it doesn't matter. I don't have to go back in. I'm really keen to see how little water is coming in because, I mean, there can't be much. So I dump the gear, I come back in, lift the engine hatch. It's like I did nothing. It's still pouring in. It's the same amount coming in. And the bilge is filling, and I'm going, bilge handle, manual bilge pump, start pumping. And I'm pumping, and I'm thinking, what could it be? It's got to be another hole. I mean, what else could it be? I was smarter this time. I don't know if you saw, I had the difficulty in the first repair job, but I had the torch in my hand. It's a real pain in the ass, especially with that sticky tape. Not that I was going to use that anymore. And that's what caused the problem, that I couldn't actually manipulate things properly. Now, I have a GoPro Lite. And I thought about it. I'd only just used this 3 days previously. So I took off there you go. I took off the GoPro, stuck this on, get the gear together. I got another plastic bag. There's already another plastic bag in the boat still, and went in. Big breath, did 2 circuits. Nothing. Clean. No hole at all. Well, this can't be right. Another breath. Then I did 2 more circuits. This time the opposite direction, just in case I couldn't see it from that other direction. Nothing. Dinghy, boat, dump the gear. I'm thinking, this is becoming a puzzle. This is crazy. Get in, doesn't matter. Bilge pump handle, manual bilge pump, and think, and pump, and think, and pump, and think. And I went, right, we had an explosion down below. Maybe there's an explosion at the top. Newton's third law. To every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. High school physics, people. It's good to pay attention. So, it's actually under the box where my feet are hanging on. Lift up the box, but I was wrong again. But I wasn't wrong by far in distance, because about this far away, the water, believe it or not, it looked like it was materializing out of nothing. It was pooled underneath the bellows of the PSS shaft seal, and it looked like it was just coming from the pool. And I can see into the pool, there's no hole to the bottom, or there's no hole that I can see the water coming from. It's like a vortex from hell. But I shoved my hand in, and it wasn't coming from the water, it was coming from the underside of the bellows, and it had a big friggin' hole in it. Problem solved. I put my hand on it, stopped it, and then started thinking, and thinking, and thinking. The bilge had filled up a bit, but I'm still thinking. It's only dribbling now. And I'm going to get this right. I haven't got much right tonight, but I'm going to get this right. And this is what I did. This is a dripless shaft seal. Now, as you can see, there's hose clamps on either side, and they're offset by 180, and they're a bit knobbly, those screw fittings. And it's going to be difficult for me to get my own hose clamps on it. But if I set them obliquely, and I bed them in, say, butyl tape, then maybe we can get a good seal. So, the first thing I did is I put down 2 layers of butyl tape obliquely along the bellows. Then I got some flex tape and I cut it in portions with a generous overlap, and I started putting it around. Now, the first layer was terrible. The second was better, and it was getting better and better. And I did 4 layers and a little bit I put on at the end. Now, with the hose clamps, I have a whole box of hose clamps. In fact, I've got 2 boxes of hose clamps. You have to open them, of course, and then put them on. Now, normally, they're a real bugger to then start rethreading. Well, would you believe it? The first one was a charm. That second one, my goodness, it was trying my patience. But once I got it on and I started screwing them up, the drips almost disappeared. In fact, we got about 3 or 4 drips a minute, which is about 1 or 2 litres an hour. Much better than 3,000 litres an hour. Problem is solved. You hear that, people? Nothing. Silence. The bilge alarm stopped about 5 minutes ago. What a lovely sound. This is where I spent the greater part of this early morning. There's the bilge pump. Him and me are buddies, yes. We're going to call it Bob because it saved us, and Bob saved us before too. The problem has been solved.
But it ain't over yet. I have to get the boat ship-shape and sail it back to civilization about 60 miles away. But there are more problems that I haven't discovered yet. Here's a sneak preview of the finale coming out tomorrow.
That's something to consider when you're doing in the same situation.